people are using technology or misusing technology to even generate some emails to damage the reputation of the country. So it's a big, big, big issue. It's a really big issue. And the government has really restrained itself.
The government spokesperson, Isaac Mwaura, is set to address the nation, with some of the issues expected to be mentioned, including the recent cases of abduction, the online controversy led by the Kenyan youth, and the swearing in of the newly appointed cabinet secretaries. Let us await to hear what the government spokesperson, Isaac Mwaura, is yet to say.
Under the leadership of His Excellency President William Ruto, is steadfast in delivering the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, popularly known as the Better Plan. This is aimed at unlocking economic opportunities to attract investment and to improve livelihoods for all Kenyans. This commitment has seen Kenya emerge as a global leader in startup funding, attracting $638 million in 2024, representing 29% of Africa's total startup funding, according to the Big Deal Africa. This surge is underpinned by innovative government policies and initiatives, such as ensuring that is a stable macroeconomic environment for investment, and also the digitalization of our business through the Digital Superhighway program under the Better Plan, which aims at connecting Kenyans through 100,000 kilometers of broadband fiber optic infrastructure. And also, of course, there is a Startup Act that is very, very crucial. In fact, this superhighway, 100,000 kilometers, we have an agreement with the World Bank where we put in place measures to ensure that we secure 53 billion Kenya shillings in that regard. In a historic milestone, President William Ruto and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, President of the United Arab Emirates, have presided over the UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement on the 14th of January. And this is really transformational because it will ensure that Kenyans who are in the meat industry will benefit from 9.9 billion worth of meat and 10.8 billion in fruits and vegetables to the UAE. And this is really, really commendable. This is the true empowerment of Mama Mboga because then they can actually export that which they are growing. This agreement is expected to double these figures by eliminating trade barriers and simplifying custom processes. On job creation and innovation, with this kind of startup funding, we believe that Kenyans have some of the best innovations by our youth, especially in areas such as fintech, climate tech, and digital services. And this is aimed at addressing local challenges and prototyping. How is it that the world can deal with these challenges, so that then the solutions that we get here in Kenya are applied globally. Again, this startup capital will also ensure that there are employment opportunities. And of course, the Jobs Maju initiative that has seen over 243,000 Kenyans get jobs abroad has given us a lot of money as a country in terms of foreign exchange to the tune of over $4 billion US, or if you like it, about 590 billion Kenya shillings. In this regard, the access to new opportunities that come with the agreement with the UAE government also provides, opportunities in education, transport, construction, and ICT. And of course, it will ensure that this technology transfer and collaboration, thus positioning Kenya businesses to compete globally. Kenya is also a leader in green growth. As you know very well, we are the champions on climate justice, and so therefore promotion of these new technologies that are using clean energy, renewable energy, will ensure that we also leapfrog our energy sector and therefore, our economy into the future. And further, therefore, attract more investment as enshrined in the priority areas under the Better Plan. On education reforms, we are gradually doing away with the 844 system, and most of us here are products of that process, of that system, which has served the nation for 35 years, and the last KCSE, Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, will be in 2027. And so at that point in time, there will be no such a system again. I keep on joking that as we went to standards, then they came to class, now they are grades, so it keeps on changing. And in that regard, the Kenya reform under the CBC, they paved very well. We have seen some naysayers saying that we should do away with the system, but It's not easy. We are starting with the system, and now there are very clear pathways of professionalism in terms of social sciences, science, technology, engineering and mathematics, if you like STEM, and also sports and the arts. Those are the three main pathways for our children so that they take it as early as possible without bombarding them to become everything and anything. As a result, we've been able to construct 14,500 classrooms with a remainder of 1,500, which will be done in the next few weeks, at a cost of 11 billion, with 6.8 billion having come from, half of which has come from the CDF, and we really thank our members of parliament. And we are going to construct another 7,290 classrooms, especially for the senior secondary level. As a result, also, the government is securing 48 billion Kenya shillings to ensure that we deal with Term 1 issues of 2025. They will be disbursed. Some of it has been disbursed already. And also, in this regard, we have been able to distribute 926,618 textbooks. Further, it's good to reiterate, for the sake of those who would want to have a second chance in life, that in July they can go back to do their KCSE, or those who may have missed, and that we are very keen to ensure that we adapt new technology for those with disabilities, especially by doing away with the Braille machine, which is very noisy and very bulky and very expensive. I think it's about 85,000 Kenya shillings, by adopting the new one, the Orbit Reader, which is about $400 or 52,000 Kenya shillings or thereabout. So the government also has noted, with great concern, the introduction of banned levies in some senior schools, and we want to call out those teachers who are making an extra penny. This is corruption, and we are going to take measures to ensure that that does not continue, so that we do not fleece our fellow Kenyans who are parents in those schools, because there is a very clear provision of monies for infrastructure development and such other needs that may arise from time to time. And as a result, therefore, we are calling upon Kenyans to also volunteer themselves to apply for the jobs of teachers that the teaching jobs that we will advertise. In this course, we anticipate to employ another 6,000, but that will be made, the announcement will be made in due course, so that we continue to filling in the gap that has resulted from the increased population of students and also the new competence-based curriculum. As a result of our expanding civil service, we are pleased to announce that 3,109 public service internship interns are going to be reporting in February, and a total of 23,105 graduates have since benefited, and quite a number of them, by the way, have been admitted into various other opportunities for growth. Some of them were retained in the civil service, and it's a very good opportunity to ensure that our young workforce is able to know how government functions, and so that there is technology transfer, there is institutional memory, and to expose them to various government functions. This also will create a solid foundation for careers and also actively contribute to national development while enhancing their competencies. Further, through the Inua Jami program, the government has been able to disburse 3.52 billion shillings in December of 2024, benefiting over 1.7 million vulnerable citizens across the country. And to further enhance efficiency and convenience for beneficiaries, a new M-Pesa-based system is currently being piloted. This innovative approach aims at streamlining disbursement in order to reduce delays and to ensure that funds reach the intended recipients and beneficiaries seamlessly, so that you remove the human agency, thus reinforcing the government's commitment to supporting the most vulnerable members of the society. For the clinical officers, I still want to ask them to really be patriotic Kenyans. We have just come from resolving the issue of intern doctors, and we have expressed goodwill in this regard. We are very committed to honoring the CBA with the clinical officers, and I don't think jeopardizing the health of fellow Kenyans is good, because we have trod this path before. We have been there. I mean, we lost a lot of days in 2024. We don't want to go back to that, and so we ask them to really come forward and raise their issues with the Ministry of Health so that we can resolve them. Because, we cannot be coming from one strike to another. I mean, it becomes very difficult to ensure that Taifa Care is working. And also, let me combine that with the question from Dennis. We have realized as a government that there is dishonesty also on the side of hospitals. Because when you have a payment, or rather a procedure approved by the SHA, but then people are being told to pay, that is sabotage. And there's serious sabotage from various hospitals. So the government is very keen to put in place a system where even you can tell how much was paid for your medication. Because that lack of transparency is what was making the NHIF to have fictitious claims, and that is what people are fighting back, because then NHIF became a cash cow. So there are teething problems there, but believe you me, as the government has committed before, we are on course to ensure that every claims are paid and that people do not pay cash just because some people want to frustrate this process. And really calling upon the people in the healthcare sector, please do not frustrate this, because it's about me and you. It's not just about the government. Government is, it's what is commonly good for us. So I think that's where the problem is, the disparity between what is being approved by SHA and also what you are being told to pay. There's a challenge there, and it's a question of transparency. Now, my friend from Horizon TV, we are living in very interesting times, and I think I need to address this issue because it is not just Kenya that has this challenge. The biggest threat, the existential threat to our sovereignty and our nationhood currently is misinformation and disinformation. Because lies have been digitized, and everyone is able to be a newsmaker. So much so that there is no leverage. And we have a study that shows that Kenyans are consuming news from social media 50%, then from the mainstream media. So anyone can wake up using their small station called Twitter or X account or Facebook and create some lies just to attract traffic and likes. And then out of that, people are using technology or misusing technology to even generate some emails to damage the reputation of the country. So it's a big, big, big issue. It's a really big issue. And the government has really restrained itself in terms of, coming into that space and, trying to curtail some of those things. Because we believe in responsible citizenship. And therefore, there should be responsible citizen journalism. So it's not because the Kenya Kwanza or the broad-based government or this administration has lost touch with Kenyans. We are very much in touch. That's why we are engaging with you, because you are the ones who interlocute between our communication and the populace. That is why His Excellency the President and the Deputy President, Kithure Kindiki, are actually out there in Western, and later on they will be going to Northern Kenya to meet one-on-one with the people. That is why we even do press briefings out of Nairobi, as we shall be doing shortly. But the question is, are people also responsible enough to ensure that they love their country? And that's why you keep on hearing me insisting on issues of patriotism. Because a patriotic Kenyan will not work to jeopardize the progress of his or her own country just because of difference of political opinion. So really, I am making a passionate call for us to really remember that every partnership that we create with a different country will benefit a certain Kenyan somewhere, and it could be yourself. When we go and negotiate with the countries like Germany, and we are able to have Kenyans go and live abroad, and they are making money, and they're able to support their families, it benefits all of us. When we make agreements with the country like Netherlands, having the monarchy there visiting here is a great thing. So let's just agree that sometimes we'll have differing opinions, but not to the extent of sabotaging a national interest out of popular public opinion that may just be momentary.
As the government continues to receive criticism from the youth online, government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura has now called upon all Kenyans to be patriotic, saying that the government is continuing to provide opportunities for all Kenyans. For ETV Africa News, I'm Ian Githuku.